Since the pandemic, Asian hate crimes have increased drastically. How would you explain this phenomenon to people who are not aware of it? Can we do anything to stop Asian hate crimes against Asian Americans?
Let's start this discussion with stopping a moment to remember. Yesterday, March 16th, was the second anniversary of the Atlanta spa killings, where 8 people were shot and killed, 6 of whom were Asian American women. President Biden issued a statement marking that tragedy and reminding us all that we have to find whatever means to stop this anti-Asian American, anti-Asian hate. And we have to remember also that this hate has not abated. It has not stopped, even though the pandemic is receding. We must remember what happened during the Lunar New Year, when another gunman shot and killed 11 people, injured 9 people, mostly Chinese Americans, celebrating at a dance studio. And some of us may have also heard of a young Indiana University female student who was repeatedly stabbed in the head and had to go to the hospital. And that was only January of this year. So anti-Asian hate, I must emphasize, did not begin with the pandemic. The media likes to blame the rise in hate and violence against Asians and Asian Americans on President Trump's tweets, referring to COVID-19 as the Chinese virus or Kung flu. Trump's racist language deserves criticism, even condemnation, but it does not absolve American racism that goes back more than a century. The rise of Asian hate today has deep roots in the long history of exclusion, expulsion, discrimination, and the disenfranchisement of Asians in America. The Supreme Court actually ratified and upheld the constitutionality of the Chinese exclusion laws in 1889. It furthermore set the precedent that Congress has the authority to ban Chinese immigrants based solely on their ethnicity. Why? Because Chinese were characterized as foreigners of a different race who would not assimilate and were dangerous to the country's peace and security. This fueled the hysteria, the 19th century hysteria of the yellow peril, a racial epithet which represents Asians, particularly the Chinese, as existential threats to the Western world. Fear of the yellow peril is rooted in the belief that the West might be overwhelmed, overrun by the East. Does that sound familiar? Reminiscent of the political rhetoric that we hear so often today. The perpetual foreigner stereotype has been used in the othering of Asian Americans, justifying the scapegoating of Asian Americans as perpetual foreigners, especially during times of unease about the country or about the economy. The surge in anti-Asian violence and hate during the coronavirus shows quite clearly that race has the, I would say, real life consequences for groups marked as a foreign and dangerous other. How do we stop this hate? Let me just share with you what my organization, the U.S.-China Education Trust, is doing in the hopes of helping to stop this. We are giving Asian Americans their voice to tell their stories, to revisit history, and to reopen public dialogue to understand the Asian American experience. And we're asking them to talk about Asian American lives, including the good with the bad. American students, moreover, can go through their entire school life without hearing one word or one reference to Asian Americans or to Asian American achievements. We need to teach Asian American history in our schools. We need to teach all Americans that Asian Americans are not foreigners. Asian Americans are as American as Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, and white Americans. That's what we hope to do.